July of 2015 was when WWE started the Women's Revolution. That was the year when Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte Flair debuted on the main roster. These three women were the main catalysts to push the agenda of women's wrestling to be taken seriously. But before the Women's Revolution, there was the Divas era. This was the era where all you had to do was look attractive and you were pretty much gonna get TV time. There were literally panty and bra stipulation matches when you had women who can actually wrestle on the roster, like Trish Stratus and Lita. They simply weren't given enough respect and were treated like eye candy toys rather than humans like the men were. Often the most important storylines that the woman would be a part of is being the kayfabe girlfriend of a male wrestler, being one of Redacted's toys, or being part of a segment that involves them serenading the crowd. It was time for a change, and that is what WWE vowed to do with the Women's Revolution. In 2016, women's wrestling was finally becoming a regular, as they were able to get more physical and flesh out storylines for the crowd to have any interest in their matches. Charlotte and Sasha Banks were able to headline a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch were in a tables match during a TLC pay-per-view. The women even had their own traditional 5v5 Survivor Series match with an actual build behind it. They even had a main event match in a winner-takes-all between Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 35. The women's division was finally getting some respect, and it truly felt like we were heading towards a step in the right direction. So how the did we end up in the position that we are in right now? We went from women getting main event matches at WrestleMania because they were the undeniable best story going in at the time, to now having to beg for these women to even sniff the main event at any pay-per-view, period. I'll tell you why that's the case. Bad booking. Nobody on the women's roster is important outside of a select few. The women are not given ample time to flesh out a character, which leads to no one caring about their matches or backstage segments. Instead, we get 2-minute matches that makes you question why you even bother watching women's wrestling. An example of this is the little rivalry between Candice LeRae and Maxine Dupree. This was a feud which involved Candice LeRae turning heel and basically calling Maxine Dupree out for not being ready to wrestle on the main roster. This was great because they were actually developing a character for Candice LeRae rather than having her come out looking like a pixie fairy, smiling and waving to the crowd. The problem is that the payoff was abysmal. They decided to make her have a match with Maxine and have the match go on for 2 minutes. Why the are you starting something and then killing my interest immediately? Another problem with the women's division is the constant recycling of the same stars in the main event scene. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, and Rhea Ripley, all the same recycled people over and over and over again. When you have the same wrestlers competing for the title, you begin to grow tired of the same old stuff. Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch being in the main event scene is the same energy as Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns constantly in the title picture back in the late 2010s. We went from people wanting Bianca to become champion to people wanting Bianca to stay away from the title. Becky Lynch won the world title not too long ago in a battle royal because it was a safe option. Do you see the problem with what I just said right there? The women's division is booked so badly that WWE doesn't even trust putting the title on anybody else but the top 4 that they constantly push down our throats. Look, I love Becky Lynch, but I can't deny how boring that decision was, although it was the safest option. Who the hell other than Becky Lynch was looked at as a legitimate option to take the title from Rhea Ripley? WWE is hosting a Queen of the Ring tournament right now, and it feels like the most last minute put together tournament you'll ever see. You have the tag team champions in the tournament, you have people who haven't been on TV in a while in the bracket, you even have people who have been jobbing in 2-minute matches in there. The whole event could have been better prepared, but that's what happens when the division has no heat. Although I have listed a bunch of problems with the division right now, I have a few proposals on how to fix the women's division. First off, we need to get rid of the 2 main titles because there isn't enough star power to justify there being titles on both brands. I know it defeats the purpose of the draft, but it's not my fault the women's division can't be run by those rules without taking massive hits in the brand specific rosters. There should be no reason as to why the only legitimate contender for the WWE Women's Championship is Bianca Belair. Everyone else either isn't ready for the title or has no heat to them, which is a majority of the roster. With just one title going between both brands, you could actually have multiple top stars with plenty of fresh matchups rather than the same matches every week. The next step is to give the women in the midcard scene a storyline and let them flesh out their characters. But what is the point if they have nothing to fight for? Allow me to introduce the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This gives the women an incentive to fight with a story behind it, as they can actually gain something from it. Imagine Liv Morgan being the Intercontinental Champion champion to prove to us that she is more than ready enough to carry the World Heavyweight Championship. The Intercontinental Championship should be used as a pedestal to bolster the career of the holder and allow them to prove to the world that they can be a big player in the women's division. NXT recently introduced a Women's North American Championship, and it has made the already impressive women's division just that much better. The roster actually has something to fight for, and it made the women who weren't in the main event scene feel important. The main roster can benefit from the same effect because there are too many wrestlers who are too damn talented to be participating in tag team matches that hold no value. Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Candice LeRae, Alexa Bliss, all of these women could benefit from having a mid-card title being introduced to the main roster. Now, one of my main problems with this women's roster is the tag team division. All of these random tag teams put together, and a majority of them don't even gel well. There's almost no chemistry in the tag division, so I feel like they need to burn those titles and forget about it entirely. The tag division was doomed to fail when they first introduced it in 2018. There was no true tag teams, so the interest level was immediately in the gutter. I enjoyed the title design, but the importance of it was doomed from the beginning. Rather than these nothing tag team matches that puts the crowds to sleep, how about we put all of these women in matches fighting for a mid-card title instead? Triple H has not been doing the best job with the women's division so far, and I'll be damned if he continues to book these duds after the Queen of the Ring tournament. If there aren't any changes soon, then the women's division will continue to be the afterthought of the WWE. Now we're gonna hop into the Q&A section of this video. But the first question is from Ace, and they asked, who are the current SmackDown 6? I don't think there's truly a SmackDown 6. There's not really that many big time players on SmackDown. The most I can say is like AJ Styles, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes. It's 3 people: Randy Orton, Bailey, Bianca. So those people that I just named, like, those are like the only people that come up to my mind when I'm answering that question. They should have done better during the draft. The next question is from Football Edits. They asked, rate SmackDown, Raw, and NXT from 0 through 10. I'm gonna start over Raw. I'll give Raw a 7 because it's not a perfect show. The 3-hour mark, it kills me all the time. By the time it's 10 o'clock, I'm already ready to go to sleep because that's around the time that they start putting filler matches and filler storylines. If we get rid of all the 3-minute women's matches, all the women's segments with people who can't talk on the mic like Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan, like, I'm sorry, they bored me to sleep, then it'll probably be a better show. I think Raw is a solid 7. Now for NXT, I'll give NXT an 8 because I feel like they're the most consistent show out of all 3 brands, but there's always that one storyline that just makes you question why you're watching this every Tuesday. For SmackDown, I'm not gonna lie, it's a solid 5. SmackDown hasn't really done anything. I'm not really too big on Cody as a champion right now because it seems like they have no direction for him right now. Facing Logan Paul, I don't know, it's not for me. Title versus title, it doesn't intrigue me anymore because we were so tired of Roman being a double champ, but then we're gonna praise Cody Rhodes for basically doing the same thing. Like, you're fighting for both titles instead of, you know, that title having its own storyline. Logan Paul should have had another storyline with somebody else, who, like a LA Knight or something, not with Cody Rhodes. Next questions from the Jadarius Experience. They ask, titles you will scrap and keep in AEW and WWE. Let's start with AEW because I don't watch AEW weekly, but I catch up. I know what title is like the least important over there. So obviously with AEW, you keep the main title, you keep the women's championship. Get rid of the FTW championship. That's the most useless championship that ever since when I was watching AEW weekly in 2018, the FTW championship was always useless. It was just garbage. It was literally no point for it. Get rid of it. The TNT championship, which I think is great. I think it's great on Adam Copeland right now. He's been putting on phenomenal matches over there. I believe the TNT championship is a great, like, mid-card open challenge type of title. So I think that should stay. The AEW World Tag Team Championships, although the tag team division over there is not the brightest because the storylines over there just don't make sense right now for the tag team division. It feels like it's just all over the place and it feels like a second fiddle. It's felt like that for a very long time. There was a point in time where I felt like AEW had the best tag team division, but right now it doesn't feel that way. I think the Young Bucks are perfect for like their little gimmick that they have right now, but it just doesn't feel important. The Trios Championships, they need to get rid of it because, bro, the Bullet Club, the Bang Bang Gang, and the the Scissor Me Daddy, those people, the Acclaimed, yeah, corny. Trios titles, bro, get them out of here, bro. They are so meaningless. Get the Trios Championships out of here. If you're not gonna book it right, what is the point of the fans investing their time in it? The TBS Championship for the woman, isn't that, I feel like that's what WWE needs. They need like their own mid-card title for the women's championships. I think the AEW TBS Championship is just that. So I think the TBS Championship should stay. The AEW Continental Championship, get it out of here. What is the point of all these damn? There's too many belts over there. The Continental Championship should be one of those that are gone. Don't matter if Okada has it, gone. No matter if Eddie Kingston had it, gone. Get it out of here. And the AEW International Championship, get it out of here too. Get it out of here. What is the point of having a TNT Championship, an FTW Championship, an International Championship, a Continental Championship if they all have the same meaning? They are like, it makes no sense to have all those championships on the same roster, the same brand. Get them all gone. They also need to get rid of the NJPW Championship or the Ring of Honor Championships. All of those, get them off the show, bro. That's not AEW. Get it off of AEW. There should be no reason why in the first week of Swerve's reign, the NJPW Championship should be defended at the main event while Swerve was in a nothing match defending his championship in the opener. Makes no sense. Get rid of all those championships. The last question is from the other white nerd. They ask, would you start a fantasy booking series? I think it'd be interesting hearing how do you book next year's Royal Rumble, for example, or maybe fix an old storyline. Yeah, I would start a fantasy booking series, but the thing is that those videos will take a little bit longer because my videos, I like to write scripts for them, so it wouldn't be like a 7-minute video like how I usually do a 7, 8 minute, 10-minute video. It'll probably be a longer video, so it'll take a little bit longer to make those. So I wouldn't want to make a commitment and tell you guys, oh, this is gonna drop on Wednesday or this is gonna drop on Thursday, because I wouldn't know when it will drop. But I will be in the middle of all my other videos, I'll be writing a script for stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be making a fantasy book of next year's Royal Rumble, but give me like at least till like 1 month before the Royal Rumble, or at least 2 months before the Royal Rumble and stuff like that. I'll give me like 2 months before the actual pay-per-view, and then I'll start writing of fantasy booking those events. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. I'm enjoying all the support that you guys are showing me. Make sure you join the Discord. We have live discussions during the shows. We have hot takes. We talk about other wrestling companies, and we also talk about my upcoming videos. So make sure you go in there so you can know the next idea that I have in plan for this YouTube channel. Make sure you follow my Twitter. Make sure you follow my Instagram. I hope you guys have a peaceful day. See you in the next video.